Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. Sorry I haven't had much, good new material lately. Really, I've just kind of been running out of stuff to talk about. There'll be stuff. I mean, there's always going to be stuff to talk about, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to produce the amount of volume that I used to. Um, that's okay. Things change. That's life. Did 2 or 3 years of pretty consistent content, so it's okay that things were eventually going to slow down. And it's actually kind of somewhat related to this video, kind of tangentially related. But in my YouTube feed, I get two guys. Maybe you're familiar with them. One is this. They're both young Latino guys from East Los Angeles. Sorry. One is named Tejano something, Tejano Doomer or something, and the other is Stigma Guy. And they're both the Tejano Doomer guy. I hear him in the videos and he sounds totally normal to me, but he seems to believe that he's on the spectrum. And I don't know if he is or not. It's not. I mean, if he is, his stories would make a little bit more sense. I mean, and then there's the Stigma guy is. I don't know if I always want to say he sounds more like he's on the spectrum. He sounds more like he's on the spectrum than the Tejano guy does, but that could just be he's got more of the East LA accent, and it's like a really heavy East LA accent, and maybe that sometimes that can maybe make you sound like you're autistic. I don't know. At least if you don't hear that accent regularly, which I don't up here, and I mean, I hear it in movies and TV shows, but that's it. Like the Latinos here don't have that accent. Okay, They're not like, "Hey man, why are you on our turf?" That's more of a that's more of an East LA thing, or maybe in the Southwest. So, but anyway, so I watch I mean, if you haven't seen their stuff, I mean, the best comparison I can make to say to them is kind of like Latino versions of what was that kid's name? DBDR. I mean, it's not a perfect comparison, but the same like type of struggle. And I've been thinking, also about my own life and stuff. A lot of it, related to my struggle with depression. And one thing that I think black pillars, blue pillars, people in general just get wrong is they think that I mean they all seem to have a similar idea. Everybody's got a similar idea of what a good life is, and why do you want a good life? Because if you have a good life, it'll make you happy. And the thing is, as I get older, I really don't think that's why we're here. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to be happy, but I don't think that's what this is all about, is to be happy. And even if it was, I don't think that having a good life is necessarily going to make you happy. Now, all things being equal, it would be better. But I could see, I mean, there are people who objectively do have pretty shitty lives and are happy. And there's people who have great lives and are unhappy. The reason I'll put this, back to like when my depression was at its worst is something that's where I really learned it. When my depression was at its worst, I was like, remember, it kind of made me just realize it didn't matter what I had, like it was because you were like, all having better stuff or whatever meant was that you were in a nicer prison. Like, whereas, it was really when I was depressed, I could see that, whether you're happy or not really is something that comes from the inside. I know it's cliche, and I'm not saying that you can just will yourself to happiness. I'm not saying that what happens on the outside doesn't affect what happens on the inside. I'm not saying any of that. But I'm just saying that good stuff on the outside isn't necessarily going to be enough. Um, and So then I think that's like a lot of, the frustration that people, I mean, black pillars in general, but just people in particular, there's so much frustration about my life isn't the way that I want it to be. It's like, well, why do you even think that your life should be the way you want it to be? Like, is that, I mean, think about it. Is that why you were why you were put on this earth? And I just don't think it is. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. Now, so you say, okay, well, then why are we here? No idea. Absolutely no idea. I've never heard a good explanation for that. That's one of those things where I think atheists beat theists in the debate. I cannot think of a good reason for us being here. I don't see. I don't see. I don't see what's. I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, if you're somebody who's super happy and loves their life, those people I think can get it. But if you're like most of us, I don't get it. Okay, now, but even still saying that, and I know people are going to say I'm coping, and I really don't think it is. But I feel like we're all here for a reason. I really don't know what that reason is, and if people want to say that I'm coping, I I'm pretty honest with myself, and it really just is how I feel. Now, I'm not positive. I don't know. It's just a gut feeling. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know anything you guys don't know. It's just how I feel. Um, One thing I will say though is, let's say it was all going to end today for me. Say today is my last day on Earth, and you know, tomorrow or something, I go to the hereafter, and something like that. Let's just say that that was the case. If that was the case, now just looking back, um, would I have traded the life that I lived for a life where things had gone the way I wanted? Like, let's say, I lived in a life where I didn't have the health problems that I did. And I, you know, made some better decisions in some other ways, and got to, pursue pursue some dreams I had that I really couldn't pursue because of, some was health stuff, some was other stuff. And stuff like that. Um, would I would I trade that? Would I trade those experiences? And the answer is no. And I certainly wouldn't have traded my experiences for like a Chad type's experiences, because as enjoyable as that stuff would have been at the time, um, the only things that I've ever grown from as a person have been hardship, disappointment, failure, and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to say hardship, disappointment, and failure is good. I'm not saying suffering is good. Believe me, I'm still fighting with depression, and you know, I hope I never suffer ever again for the rest of eternity. But um, if in all honesty, I can see, looking back on it in total, is, maybe I didn't feel like I was learning or getting anything out of it at the time. But overall, over the course of an entire 39 years, um, I did grow a lot from it. I did get a lot of stuff from it. And if I had had a life that had gone better, um, I wouldn't have learned or grown as much. Um, I don't know. if that necessarily means that we're here to like grow and learn, because I can think of much easier ways I could have learned the same stuff. Or they could have just, I could have just been made knowing all the stuff in the first place. I don't really get it. I don't get it, so I don't have any explanations. But I'm just saying, that is one thing I can say is that, these, if you're somebody, or really anybody, because I think it's most people's lives are mainly two things: struggle and disappointment. That's if you think of like people who've lived, all the people who've lived in the course of human history, all the people who are living today. I don't know if all people's lives are hell on earth or whatever, and hopefully people have had at least some good points, but that's ultimately what it is. Struggle and disappointment. That's human existence, and I think that that's those people that they've gotten more when life's all said and done. They've got more out of life than the people who didn't experience a lot of struggle and disappointment and experienced a lot of highs of whatever the opposite of struggle and disappointment are. Not that those things aren't good. Not that I wouldn't prefer, going forward to be one of the people with the quality, easy life. But as in the words of great Stoic philosopher Casey Zander, what feels good is not necessarily good for you. And he's right. He's right. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.